Julian the Apostate was the Roman emperor who briefly tried to turn the empire away from the Christian path it had begun to follow under Constantine. A nephew of Constantine the Great, Julian ruled from AD 361 to 363 and earned the name the Apostate because he rejected the Christianity of his upbringing and sought to restore the old pagan order of Rome. Brilliant, philosophical, and fiercely devoted to the ancient gods, he worked to weaken Christian influence and strengthen traditional worship across the empire. One of the boldest and most symbolically charged acts of his reign was his attempt to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem in AD 363, a move that would have carried enormous religious and political meaning. But according to ancient sources, the project was abruptly stopped when fire broke out at the site. The clearest non-Christian witness, Ammianus Marcellinus, says that balls of flame burst out near the foundations, burned some of the workers, and drove the whole effort to a halt. Historians are careful with the event, noting that while the sources do report a fiery interruption, the cause is debated, possibly miraculous, possibly accidental, possibly connected to the earthquake of May 19th, 363. Either way, Julian's effort failed, and with it died one of history's most dramatic attempts to restore what would have been the Third Temple. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Steven.
So,
What an intro.
the Third Temple
Yes.
has been attempted.
Yeah.
About 1,700 years ago.
That's crazy.
So you got to think between the Council of Nicaea and the Council of Constantinople, where we basically get the origins of our Christian doctrine and theology. In between those time frames, because I believe Constantinople was 381.
Okay.
And Nicaea was like the 320s era. So in 363, the nephew of Constantine, Julian the Apostate, tries to rebuild the Third Temple.
That's crazy.
Or tries to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. And he does it in order to essentially gain the favor of the Jewish people.
Yes.
So
yeah,
in like historically, what Julian was trying to do was he was trying to restore again regional worship.
Yeah.
So he was trying to deconstruct the Christianity as a state religion
and let's make it localized.
And make it localized again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so Julian was like kind of being a man of the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd be like a community church.
Yeah.
No, but
but more so
like
a
funny tie-in.
yeah. But that is an interesting thing to note, that the Third Temple has already been attempted.
Yeah.
More than 1,000 years ago.
And it didn't work out.
Did not work. And it was not under scrutiny.
Right.
Not only that, but the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount wasn't built until the 600s.
Yeah.
So this is 300 years before they would build the Dome of the Rock.
That's crazy.
In fact, it's 300 years before Islam as a religion was even born.
Oh, fascinating.
Because Islam doesn't come around till the 600s either.
Wow.
So the Islamic religion is around 600 AD.
Okay.
And then the Dome of the Rock.
That's interesting.
And the other, and Mecca, and there's another place on the Temple Mount. Those places are built within 20 to 30 years of Islam becoming a religion.
That's pretty speedy.
It's quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have to have a place, right?
I mean, yeah, you got to have a place to lay your head.
But isn't that interesting? So the nephew of Constantine basically eliminates Christianity as a state religion.
Wow.
So that's why they call him Julian the Apostate.
It makes sense.
And then there's no solid ancient evidence that Julian intended the temple to be dedicated to any other god than the God of Israel and the restoration of Jewish worship. So Julian was not trying to like rebuild the third temple or rebuild the temple as the third temple and desecrate it.
Yeah.
Or essentially worship another god using the temple of Yahweh.
Yeah.
He was actually trying to restore the temple of Yahweh.
Yeah.
For the Jewish people.
That's fascinating.
So like the emperor of Rome was like, "Hey, like Israel, let me restore this for you."
Yeah.
And it says that there were balls of fire and flame that drove the workers away from their work. And then I like the added, or possibly it was connected to an earthquake that happened on May 19th, 1700 years ago.
Like, what?
Yeah, isn't that wild though?
I want to know how do we figure that out?
People write it down. I mean, this is historical accounts.
True. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, these are literally historical. The guy's name that I couldn't really read.
Dear diary, there was an earthquake today.
So the sources indicate that Julian authorized the rebuilding of the Jerusalem temple and renewal of Jewish sacrificial worship there. Not that he meant to turn it into a pagan shrine. Later summaries of the episode describe his policy as the full restoration of Jewish worship, which is the key point.
Yeah.
So Julian's motive was almost certainly political as well as religious. He wanted to undermine Christianity, present himself as a champion of ancient cults against the Christian empire, and likely win Jewish goodwill, especially in the East. So while the temple would have functioned as the Jewish temple, dedicated in Jewish terms to the God of Israel, Julian appears to have supported the project as part of his wider anti-Christian and pro-traditional religion agenda. This is consistent with his own writings, which show his deep commitment to restoring older religious customs across the empire.
That's so interesting.
It's interesting because you go, all right, Rome, not Israel,
right,
not Jewish. Rome goes, hey, let's restore for the Jewish people in order to gain goodwill with the Jewish people.
Yeah.
What does that sound like? It sounds like something that's happening right now. And this guy, Julian the Apostate, he intentionally wanted to help the Jewish people rebuild the temple and bring in the third temple.
There's going to be another earthquake.
Intentionally to undermine Christianity.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that that's what's happening.
But I'm just saying it sounds like it.
But it's definitely a byproduct.
Yeah.
So,
which honestly is interesting to think about that, because there's the whole etymology, not etymology.
History?
What's the end times?
Eschatology?
Thank you. Eschatology of like, we need them to rebuild the third temple so Jesus comes back.
Right. And that's not what he was doing.
No, he was just trying to take a political favor.
Yeah, he was trying to gain the political favor and he wanted the Jewish people to like him.
Yeah.
So he was trying to restore regional cult worship.
But it's just interesting. It's like there's a few different veins, speaking of now, that are trying to accomplish the same thing for very different reasons.
Well, think about the establishment of America as a separation of church and state, where it's celebrated for you to worship whomever and however you want to.
Yeah.
That's literally what Julian was doing, coming off of a Christian state.
Yeah.
He was redistributing it and saying, no, let's not do that.
You can just do whatever you want. Yeah.
The funny thing is as corrupt as it was, England had Christianity as its state religion. And those who came to America did what? They said, you can worship whoever and however you want to.
Yeah.
So, like, nothing new under the sun.
But
But isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's the thing is like this is not the first time
like
this has
the
happened.
Puritans, when they came, they're like, we want to worship him the way we want to worship him.
Yeah, they actually intentionally, which maybe we do a whole episode on this, but the Puritans intentionally only used the Geneva Bible.
Yeah.
Because they said that the King James was the Bible of the state. Yeah. So commissioned by the state, therefore they wanted to separate from that because of the corruption of the state. The corruption the state was having over Christianity.
Yeah.
Which,
it does show up in the King James.
It's why Protestants exist.
Yeah, it's true.
So just gonna leave these notes here. These are like little tiny
nuggets.
This is just information from history, everyone.
Here's just a little chicken nugget for you.
Yeah. So has the third temple been built? No. Has it been attempted? Yes. A long time ago.
Yeah. And there was some fire or an earthquake.
Or or both.
Like giant balls of fire. It's probably an earthquake.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but also both things can happen at the same time.
That's fair.
And lightning originates from the ground, so why can't an earthquake happen and balls of fire shoot up? Yeah. Maybe they were coming up from the ground instead of down onto the ground.
Oh, that's interesting.
Either way, balls of fire.
Balls of fire.
3, 2, 1.